All right, welcome back everybody. For those who just got the 18-second intro before, I didn't have my volume sorted out properly, so it's all back. Welcome everybody, first live stream of 2023. It's been so long. I think the last one I did was right before New Year's in December, so it's been ages. Thank you everybody for supporting the channel. I had so many cool videos scheduled up in the future already, so I'm sort of like working my way backwards at the moment. So there's a lot of cool stuff coming up, but I just wanted to say thanks again for all the support. If you like listening to audio stuff, as always, this will be posted on In the Blues Tone podcast, and that will also go through on Spotify and on iTunes. So welcome everybody. All right, let's try this again. There's always a bug in the system sometimes when you haven't streamed for so long. I've taken the bandages off my head for the first time since I had it done, so I'll show you a bit later on. It's out of shot. It looks better with them off, at least when you can see me from the front than from the back. But I'm just going to pop the chat out here, make it a little bigger so I can see what's going on. All right. AM Guitar, welcome man. Hope you're doing well. First in, we got Keith. Welcome back. Thanks for being a channel member, mate. I appreciate it. We've got Jamal's here. Awesome stuff, mate. Thanks for all the support and for joining in as well. It must be early there, right? Is it early? We've got Ricardo, Bloom, Tick Bloom, welcome, welcome. Sassy Cat, Tusima, morning. All right, Scott says, good day, welcome, man. All right, awesome stuff. So, thanks for joining in, everybody. Pork Chop Express, thanks again. All right, so yeah, I've had a couple of weird weeks going on. So, I shot like 20 videos, which is crazy. I did them in like 5 days or something. It was insane, and mixed with my exercise regime, I kind of like ended up getting an RSI injury in my forearm. And I had it looked at, Rick looked at it and he said, yeah, it's sort of like typical kind of issue, just let it heal up. And it's been a few weeks and I haven't played. I'm really itching to play. I also have a gig coming up in about 2 weeks that I need to really practice for. It's 3 sets. I haven't done 3 sets in a long time, so that'll be fun. And right after when was it, Wednesday or Thursday, I ended up getting some stuff cut off the back of my head. Nothing serious again, but just a little bit on the debilitating side for a few days there. I shouldn't complain. I mean, it wasn't anything serious, so it was fine. And I opted to get it done. So it was just some little skin tag things that I've had removed. And yeah, it just sort of put me in a situation where I didn't want to film with like bandages or a hat on in the studio there. So I'm going to start getting back into filming some stuff. You know, Fender have sent me a really cool item I'm going to share with you as the next video. At least the next video that I'll film. Again, I've got a whole bunch of stuff sort of stockpiled up just in case. I'm going to go through all the classic pedals, which is something I've wanted to do for a long time. Some of these I haven't tested for 10 years or more. So sort of revisiting some stuff. And then, yeah, we'll see how we go. So welcome, everybody. Thank you again for all the support here. We've got Todd Steels here. Welcome, mate. Awesome stuff. Learjet. Second time lucky. Yeah. Sorry for those who saw me go live and then I just cut it. What happened was I was testing my audio, so I had to turn on the TV screen or the computer monitor, the audio. And then when I played it back, like when I went live, it just went straight through and looped. So I was like, all right, let's sort that out. All right, welcome everybody. So if anyone has any questions, we're going to take some questions, chat a little bit about gear. Let us know if you have seen anything that's caught your eye or interest, and let us know what you think of that Relic Strat as well, by the way, the little seafoam green one that I posted. Man, that thing sounded good. It's expensive. It's way too expensive. All right, Dylan's here. Welcome, man. Sorry if I didn't say hi before. All right, the old outlaw, welcome, welcome. Sounds like some brutal training. You know, I've been doing weights for ages. I don't really train to get like huge. I just train to balance my life out from sitting around. There's too many fat guitar players, especially on YouTube. So I always try to keep a good balance between like exercising and doing my other stuff. But yeah, it was just I think a series of things that I changed that just made it worse really quickly. And I think I know what it was. It was a certain exercise I don't do enough, and it had a different sort of like range of movement on it anyway. So I think from something's gone on right here. It was clicking and doing all kinds of weird stuff. But yeah, so sorry I haven't been doing any live streams. To be honest, I lost a little bit of interest in YouTube for quite a while. I don't know how else to put it. I was looking at the landscape of what's going out across channels, and the best thing I could have done was unsubscribe from like 30 channels, and that's what I've done. I unsubscribed to maybe 11 guitar channels. And I feel like there's so much disposable stuff going up, it just felt like I needed a break. I needed a break from posting, which is why I had that break at the start of the year. And then I just sort of wasn't interested in like talking about gear because I was always around it, you know, rather than just doing it all the time. I like doing stuff on the channel that interests me, and if I'm motivated to do it, that's when I'll do it, and I'm back. So welcome back, everybody. This live streaming setup's going to be sick. I've got like the computer set up. I'm going to have 2 cameras set up. I might have a few people come in at some point in time, so stay tuned for that, but it's going to be fun. So yeah, welcome back, and thank you for hanging in there. All right, so this mouse that I'm using in my hand doesn't work with the computer that's over here. So anyway, all right. Raphael says, hey Shane, Mr. Livestreams. I'd probably just reply to that, but welcome, welcome. Did I see the Squier Paranormal leak? I did not. Is it leaked officially anywhere? Like, is it on? Let's see if this works. Ready? Boom. How about that? Hopefully this works for everybody. Let us know if there's any issues with... look at the trending searches here. Rat poisoning. I don't know what's going on there. But anyway, let's have a look. Squier Paranormal. Are these official releases, or are these... well, I guess it would just be if it's leaked, it means it's just come out, right? So we can do this. Maybe it's this, right? Squier are making great stuff, man. Oh, great. Anyway, this is the UK site. Looks pretty cool, sort of. It looks, it's very 70s. It looks like a 70s guitar to me, but maybe that's just me. I don't know if that, the Shapeshift is the one you were talking about, but give me some keywords and I'll look it up. All right, hopefully that all worked. That's the first time I've done that. Raphael says, just to share with you, it's been a year now from when I started playing live at open mic nights and such, and you were really instrumental when sharing your love for jams and live playing. Hey, thanks, man. I mean, the idea is to play to people or play with others, and it's not just to obsess over gear. It's to, you know, get out there and use it if you've got that opportunity to do so. You know, so many people will waste years of obsessing over gear more than actually using the gear. I have a tech channel as well, which I've been contributing to, and you know, the camera niche is very similar. Everyone's obsessed with what's coming out next, but it's like you've already got something great, you know, use it and enjoy it. Or at least, you know, you can be obsessed with whatever's coming out next, but it doesn't take away from the fact that whatever you've got's already probably ample, you know. So getting out there and playing is what it's all about. If you don't have an end goal or a constant challenge, you know, playing live is always different each time you do it. It's never the same thing twice. You can be playing with the same people for 4 weeks in a row, and none of those weeks will be exactly the same, or 52 weeks, you know, whatever the case may be. So yeah, great stuff. Well done. Get out there and play live. I'm getting back out there. That's my goal now for the rest of the year. I'm also going to be testing out some stuff in the context of a gig. Again, it's been ages. Yeah, I was going to open mic nights up until I think roughly December, and then I stopped. The one I was going to pretty much closed its doors to the jam after like 30 years, which was insane. There wasn't really any others that were around that really weren't too clicky. At least I felt like, you know, they're all, if you know the people, you get a good go kind of thing. So that's the only downside to the jam nights. But overall, they're great. Yeah, well done, man. Thanks for the kind words. We got a huge guitar channel from Ireland. Yeah, I'd love to get there at some point. That'd be super cool. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name per S. He says, hello from Norway. Norway's on my list. I reckon Norway will probably be in the next 3 places I visit whenever that happens. I really want to go there. I love that side of the world. So welcome. Thank you. Any advice for... you know what? I'm just going to make this a bit bigger. I'm on my little crappy laptop over here. Any advice for hand and arm problems due to too much playing? Carpal tunnel. That's pretty much what I've had, right? So I got really sore in here to the point where if you missed the start of the stream, I like would push and it would go, it would click. That's how bad that was. So there's a few things you can do for it. Interestingly enough, I spoke to a guy that I'm working with, sort of doing some other projects at the moment. And he's, well, if I tell you who he is anyway, he's a specialist, a sports expert, basically. I put it like that. But he's told me to grab one of those round, hard ball things that you can use to sort of like, you can roll different areas out. It's not a proper roller. It's just like a small tennis ball sized thing, and it's got like little plastic bumps all over it. And you roll it into your tricep, which was strange or into your forearm or whatever, depending on how sore it is. But that's what's worked for me. As soon as I started rolling my tricep, it started to fix itself. So sometimes it's not, while it's can be really sore in the forearm, it could be coming from somewhere else. I mean, there's times where I've dealt with this on my chord hand before, and one day I woke up and it disappeared. And what happened was I ended up just pushing on it as hard as I could, and it friggin' hurt. But eventually it got better. But yeah, I've started using the foam roller on my back and all that kind of stuff. But now I'm also rolling on my arm, and that's made a huge difference. So maybe that'll help. I'm not, qualified to give you proper advice, but that's what worked for me. So, and sometimes you're just going to give it a break. But I also feel like doing nothing is the worst thing in the world. So yeah. Hey, we've got a new member, Adam Slater. Welcome, man. Thank you so much for joining in. I appreciate it. I do post behind-the-scenes videos occasionally and some little behind-the-scenes photos and all that kind of stuff on my feed for the channel members, but I don't post just any sort of like special long-form content. It's just sort of like behind-the-scenes videos. So thank you. Pretty much similar stuff to Patreon. Thanks again, man. I appreciate it. So hopefully that helps, man. The carpal tunnel, RSI, or tennis elbow, it all sucks. It's a terrible thing. It's not out yet. It was an actual leak. Okay, cool. No, I haven't. I must have missed that one. Rote Pillin Frezzo, is it? Says, Shane, I got my second Tele made in America, and these ones have a buzzing, maybe in the cylinder saddles. I'm not sure what the second part of that question was, but buzzing can come from pretty much anywhere. There's this bad joke that goes around that, anyway, I'll give you the normal version. Fender are terrible at cutting the nuts on their actual, where the strings go over near the headstock. That's where a lot of the problems happen. They're terrible. And sometimes the less expensive guitars have better cut nuts than the way more expensive ones. I've seen this firsthand a number of times, but I would say check to make sure that the screws that go into the saddles as well, near where the base of the guitar is, none of them are loose, because I've had that problem before. I touched it and it stopped buzzing. I was like, oh, this is actually loose. And I just tightened it or pushed it down a little bit. It sorted itself out. That could be a number of different things, but it shouldn't be too hard to fix either way. I mean, it really depends on where the buzzing is coming from too. You can just sort of poke around and see what happens. Do I play right-handed in the Northern Hemisphere? Sometimes, if there's no lefties. Hey, we got Fat Philosopher here. Welcome, man. I don't know if I said hi before or if you didn't say hi, but anyway, welcome, mate. I'm just trying to catch up on the chat here. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining in, and if you missed the start, I just wanted to say thank you for all the support with the channel here. All right, Jacob says, just talking about you today, Shane. After 18 months of watching your 2 Bassman clips, I purchased a 59 Bassman yesterday. Thanks heaps from Perth. Hey, awesome stuff, Jacob. Man, I tell you what, you turn a Bassman up, it's mighty. There's something pretty special about that. They're loud, man. Woo! But I guess one of the cool things about them is for a 4 10-inch speaker amplifier, they're not that heavy. So you can kind of pick them up and get them around okay. There's no reverb tank in them either for folks who don't know. So I think that's a great amp for for the right person. If you can get that up to the right volume, man, it's super cool. Sassy Cat, thank you, appreciate it. Welcome to Super Friends. Hey, wow, thank you, mate. Thank you, everybody, for the support here. I'm going to try and do more live streams coming up. I really needed a break from just talking about gear and being around it all the time. And I think the problem was, as I didn't get to before, I wasn't doing anything outside of my house that much anymore music-wise. I was just sort of like sitting around and not doing much. So the keys to the guitar shop, I did one gig at a festival, and I was like, oh, now I'm actually having a lot more fun. Not to say this isn't fun, but music for me was always about going out and playing live and doing this as well. And then it was just doing this. I was like, it's still good for my playing because I'm always playing, but you lose that sort of... I was losing, as I mentioned before, the mindset of wanting to play over just stuff. And stuff is fun, but yeah, the balance is back. I feel good. Raphael says, it's awesome to play on stage, but I do love guitars and gear, but it's not the only focus now. Yeah, there you go. That's perfectly said, mate. That's great. You just said what I tried to say in one sentence, so that's heaps better. How do you find good supportive jam nights in Melbourne? You just got to kind of ask around. I don't know what... I guess, well, I haven't been on Facebook forever. I actually closed down the In the Blues page. It'd been up, but I hadn't really contributed much to it, maybe twice a year for the last 3 years after I got rid of my personal account. But yeah, you could probably find an easy web, I guess just do some searches in your area. Most open mics or jam nights will have either some sort of social presence, whether it's a Facebook page. It might not be up to date, but it might have a website. Some do that as well. Just if you know any musos in the area that also go out and play live, just ask around too, because people know, like if you're a guitar player in Melbourne, for example, you'll know so many different players inherently if you go out and already gig or play live at jams. So there's plenty of people who are connected in the circuit, and you can go check them out. But yeah, the funny thing with jams, sometimes they're a lot of fun, and other times it's just a real clicky mess, and people think they're more special than everybody else. But everybody else is what contributes to the night succeeding. So I used to run jams for a long time. Some nights I didn't even play. So it's, you got to give everyone a go. But there's plenty around. Just, I think the Oak Tree Tavern out in the Basin is supposed to be really good. So yeah, I'm sure you'll be able to find them. Hey Jamal, welcome man, and also well done on all the playing too. He said you're doing some woodshedding, as they call it. Awesome stuff. He says, one thing I've been working on is my dexterity on the fingerboard. My free time is limited. However, I've been doing spider exercises at least once a day and a week in, and I've already seen some improvement. There you go. Awesome. That's great news, man. I tell you what, practice right before I hurt my arm, I was playing great. I don't often say that about myself. Like, I don't mean I'm like Robert Baker good, right? But for where I'm at, I felt like I got better and I was flowing. The ideas were there. Everything was there. And then once I wrecked this, I pretty much, I haven't played, and I'm like, oh man, I hope it doesn't take too long to get back. But you're right. You can just spend a week even working on things and you'll see a difference. And that's what it's all about. So well done, mate. That's awesome. Oh, I've got a super chat here. I'll take that in just a sec. Which pickup do I usually solo on? So if I'm playing on a Strat, I'll generally start on the neck and then get over to the bridge. The bridge is something that a lot of people won't like unless you have a good pedal that makes it feel and sound great. Some people who usually say, oh, the Strat bridge pickup or the Tele bridge pickup is too bright and just scratchy sounding. They don't have the bright overdrive pedal. I use a Buffalo Effects Carrera overdrive. Anytime I get on the bridge, that pedal's on. I have the Royal Flush. That's my always on my pedal board pedal. I love that thing. But if I want the fat bridge tone, I use that, and it's awesome. So yeah, I usually, for more dynamic stuff, I'll play neck pickup. For more got nowhere to go, I'll go over to the bridge. Todd Steele says, did you end up selling your DSL 40? I haven't. It's still in the room. I thought I blew it up a while back. And the great folks from Hageman Amps and VS Audio had a look at the circuit board with some high-res photos, and I blew 4 fuses, so I was lucky. It was my own fault. I hadn't used it for so long, powered it on, had no sound. Turned it off, turned it back on. I was like, uh-oh. So I realized I must have been using it with the 2 notes Captor X and didn't have the chain in right. One of the cables wasn't in. So yeah, I ended up blowing the fuses, thankfully, and I put all the new fuses in. It's been perfect. So no, mine's still going strong. It sucks that you've got issues with it. Tube, fuses, and diode issues. Jeez. No, I've never, other than when I did that to the amplifier, I've not had a problem with it. I got to admit, I haven't been taking it out and playing it at like full volume or anything like that. If I do use it here at the house, it's on 20 watt mode a lot of the time. But it's been super reliable, like awesome. And I've opened the back up a few times, tried different speakers, you know, put all that kind of stuff in. It's still going strong. So it was a time where I was thinking about getting rid of it, but I'm not going to sell it now. It's great. All right, AM Guitar, thank you, mate. Thank you for the super chat. You don't have to do that. Any highlights from Namm? VS Audio Platinum looked really cool. It did. I saw that on Instagram. It looked really good. Oh, on YouTube, was it? I can't remember where I saw it. You know what the highlight was for me? I liked KDH's video with Rob Chapman. Do you know when they took the selfie? I thought, how great is that? You know, all that, all that stuff and the drama. It's like, time to move on. That couldn't be a better thing to come out of Namm. If anything came out of Namm that was worth it, that was worth it. So I would say that. But you know what? I think I watched maybe 2 or 3 Namm videos. I didn't really watch much. I watched one of some of Mike Bradley's stuff on Instagram, I'm pretty sure it was. But I'm not, again, I'm just, yeah, not as concerned about what's coming out next, because a guitar with a different paint job is still a guitar kind of thing. So yeah, and in terms of pedals, I I usually just wait until the emails start coming in. All right, so thanks again for the super chat, mate. You didn't have to do that. Have I ever had anything stolen at a gig? You know what, the only thing I've had go missing is some cables, and whether or not I lost them, I don't know if I lost them. That's the only thing. They were brand new, and they were great. There was a closing down sale of one of the music shops, and they were blowing out these German-made cables. They were so good. And I got back, and I didn't have any cables, which were from a jam night. I was like, did someone just take those and think they were theirs, or did they just get swiped? Because I had them for 1 week. I was spewing. But thankfully, I've never had a guitar amp, any pedals. I don't think I've really lost anything at a gig like that, thankfully. And there's a lot of trust that goes on at gigs. You just wheel your stuff in, plonk it down, and sometimes go back to the car and come back or whatever. And some rooms are busy, so I guess you never can sort of tell what's going on there. But yeah, that's another reason why I like gig bags a lot for guitars now, because you can leave them on. Yeah, let us know if anyone else has had stuff stolen. That sucks. Hey, Marco, welcome. He says, finally another Q&A. Finally, it's been forever. We'll go an hour tonight. We'll see how we go. I'll timestamp this afterwards as well. Bad GOB says, Shane, I bought an artist guitar Tele style after you reviewed it. Fantastic guitar. Thanks, mate. Hey, you're welcome, man. That's awesome. Artist guitars are great guitars. I actually have one thing on the way from them at the moment, and then another guitar might be coming back. They actually sent me one, and the action wasn't set up properly. I couldn't play it. It was just it needed the right tool. I didn't have it, so I sent it back. But there's going to be another guitar of theirs coming in. That if you bought I think it was the Telecaster with the 2 humbucker pickups. I don't know if they're making them any lighter now than they did when I can't remember the model number of that one, but it was good. So yeah, well done. Awesome stuff. Sounded great your last gig. Hey, thanks, Fat. I mean, look, I hadn't sung in months, maybe close to 6 months, maybe longer. Hadn't been to jams, hadn't been gigging, just sitting around. And the week before, it was 3 days. 3 days before that gig, I really started working on my playing. It came back fast. I was like, oh, this is great. And, you know, for me, obviously the vocals isn't strong. And it's like, we'll just start with some easy tunes and ease my way back into it. And it went well. Like, it was good fun, and that's what it's all about. It's just a community festival. Like, it's nothing that, you know, we're not take any cash for it or anything. We're doing it for the community, and it's one of those things where it's just fun. Like, there's a lot of great bands, a lot of different bands. But I got to say, we were one of the few that played with improvisation. There was a lot of bands that just did really structured and rigid stuff. I get the point of that. Like, if you're writing your own tunes, that can work. But I still love the jam elements. It's what makes the music fun, and the dynamics, and seeing how high you can take the solos and all that kind of stuff is so much fun. So thank you, man. I appreciate it. How do you feel about vintage guitars? You never seem to talk about them. Have you ever had one? Would you want to buy one someday? I guess I don't get a chance to play too many lefty vintage guitars. The only ones I've played were Jerry's lefty guitars. I don't think I've seen any other lefties that I remember off the top of my head. Like, he had an old, I think, I don't know, it was a Gibson 339 in a lefty. It's one of like 8 or 10 or something. I can't remember how many were actually made. And that was killer. But I just don't get a chance to really find them. And I don't think, for me, it's like buying a custom shop guitar. You've really got to make sure you love it and that you don't plan on ever getting rid of it. Because if you buy a vintage guitar, the last thing I would do is leave it under the bed or in the cupboard or whatever the case may be. So I don't really go looking for that kind of stuff. I know a lot of people will buy the guitar their age and all that kind of thing, and that's cool if you find one you actually like. But I think a lot of guitars now are better than the guitars made in 79, which is my year. Just gave away my age. Yeah, so that's, you know, that's sort of how I feel about it. There's not too many great lefties from back in the day that aren't like 20 grand and or more, right? It's not something I'm that into. Adam Slater says, I have the Artist LP with the P90s and it's great. There you go. Awesome stuff. Very cool. All right. Yeah. GW Taylor says, keeping tabs on your cables at jams can be a nightmare. Power cables especially. Yeah, it sucks, man. Like, you know, people ask to borrow stuff and sometimes you just forget they're using it. It's happened to me before too. I'm like, where's my cable? And I'm like, lucky I got a guy's number. But that time it actually went missing. It went missing. Like, I had no idea. I didn't lend it to anybody. It was just gone. So either it fell out of my bag, which I highly doubt because I got a zip pedal train bag thing, or someone just went, yep, I'll take those. So anyway, it could have been worse, right? At least I didn't lose a guitar or an amplifier. I'll tell you this other story. So I parked at a gig I must have been, it was a busy area in Melbourne. It was in Brunswick. And I can't remember exactly what happened or what time of day it was, but we did the gig. I loaded up my car. We left and it was during the day. So basically I got there early. We went and got some food. I came back to the car, realized I had all of my windows down. And all of my gear piled on the back seat. And that was one day I just went, oh no, like, what's gone missing? Nothing went missing. I had tweed cases, I had a PA, all that kind of crap in the back seat, and nothing went missing. I was so lucky that day. I had my 50th anniversary Strat, and you know, even though I don't have that guitar now, I would have hated to have had that stolen. I listened to your gear you bought and you use and bought a Royal Flush and a Bandit. I couldn't be happier. That's from Phil's Paradise. Is that right? Phil's Paradise? Mate, awesome stuff. What a combo. The Bandit, still the best solid state amplifier for the money. No questions about it. And throwing a great overdrive like that, you got your tone. That's a combination I could play any gig with. It's awesome. So well done. All right. Demir says, "G'day Shane. I know you love the Joyo American as a recording device, but if you have a chance to plug it into the front of a Roland JC Instant Fender." Very cool, man. You know, I haven't done that before. I actually recorded an album using those. That, the Vox, and I had the Marshall, but I don't think we used the Marshall on anything. But those things are so good. I gave mine, I think, to Dr. Rick, and then I ended up buying the only one I could find at the time was a Moon. I think that's the brand name. Anyway, it was like the same price, exactly the same pedal. So Tech 21 made the blonde. Joyo basically copied it and made the American sound, and then Moon rebranded it, and Harley Benton rebranded that as well, the American sound. Great pedal, just awesome for getting a great tones. Awesome. David Friskin says, "Am I getting an S5IIX full review this month, mate? I hope so. If I find out that I'm getting one soon, I can't wait because." I'm actually filming, not filming, I'm doing this live stream with the S5 II, and it's been fantastic, man. I love this camera. Look, we've got autofocus. It's working the whole time. Anyone who's a camera nerd will know Panasonic never quite had great autofocus until now. Boom. It's awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to check that out. I think what I'm going to do, actually, I'll fill you in on another secret. Is we'll keep this quick. So I have a Sony A7S III, which I'm going to sell and most likely get an S5IIX. This is a great camera for the right person, but I'm not much of a Sony fan. All right. So that box, by the way, is boxed because it's going to go. Just on Artist Guitars, can you please do a review of the Lefty ST62? Sure. No worries. I'll make a note of that because they won't mind. I have a feeling I have already reviewed that. Maybe just double check. If it's a black Strat, I've done it. If it isn't that one, then yeah. Oh, the brand vintage. Okay. You sure? Yeah, the ST62, I feel like I've reviewed that. Any recommendations for an affordable fuzz for heavy blues rock? ZZ Top, Queens of the Stone Age. You know, I played a great fuzz pedal, which is in the queue. It's from Boss. It's called a... Let me just double check. I think it's the FZ5. It's the Wazercraft one with a vintage and modern setting. That thing kicks ass. It's so good. It's in the queue. It's coming up. Like, unbelievably great tone. You can get anything from a blues tone to just great fuzz tones. But that video's on the way, so I'm not as familiar with Queens of the Stone Age anymore. I think they were like a 90s band or something, maybe, from memory, maybe 2000s. But yeah, I'm not sure exactly what that sound is anymore. But man, there's plenty of good. I reckon that pedal's hard to beat. I tried it back to back with a Big Muff pedal, and the Boss pedal killed it. It was way better. Hey, DJ Farns, I appreciate the support. He says, oh, he didn't say anything. He says, it says, welcome to general support. So thank you. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining in the membership thing. I appreciate it. This will give you a few extra emoticons coming up. And by the way, I will be adding more emoticons to it. I only added a couple of guitars and some like old PNGs from back in the day, but yeah, I'll be adding those in. Oh no, I've just made the chat box way too big. What's going on? Let me do the old pop the chat out thing again. Pop out chat. Boom. All right, we're back. So DJ, thank you. Thanks again. 79 is your year. Oh man, you definitely need to buy one of those heavy 10+ pound Strats from that year. Yeah, I've played a few of them, man. I wasn't a huge fan. I don't mind the bigger headstock for the ones that have it, but you know, one of the worst guitars I played was a 70s Strat in a lefty. It had a natural finish. It weighed a ton, and I think it had a 3-position toggle switch as well, so it was a bit weird, but definitely not a guitar I would rate at all. I think it was like the worst I played at Jerry's that year. I made a video about it, but it was really tough to play. This was I think the first trip I was there. It just wasn't very good. All right. Adam says, guys, I bought a packet of Nobby's Bacon Bites to bottle over and getting some beers before. These things are the bomb. You can thank me later. Well, there you go. Very cool. Hey, is John here? Is he? Hey, oh, Did I already say hi? I did. Sorry, I think Jamal's just saying hi. Well, anyway, if I didn't, everyone just scream John and Jamal in the chat. That's how we do it. All right. GRB Aquatic says, good day in the blues and everyone, welcome. So coming up, I'm going to be doing a new series of keys to the guitar shop that'll be a little bit different to the standard format. The last one was the last of the old type. And I'm going to maybe surprise a few people with this new series. So hang in there. I'm going to try and film it, at least one of those, either this month or early next month, all being well. And I think the new format's going to work great. There was a few things missing from the format I didn't love. I didn't love sort of sitting here and talking about it later either. So there's going to be more stuff done at the store, but that's not the sort of surprise out of it. So yeah, stay tuned. It's going to be a pretty cool series, hopefully, moving forward. I'm going to also mix it up with the guitar players. Last time we had Dom. I'll get Brian back. We'll get Rick back. I want to invite Ben down as well if he's interested in coming down having a jam one night, because he's great. Another mate of mine, Ross. I know so many great players. It'll be super cool. So, John says, Shane, the Artist SD62L is the upgraded vintage white Strat with a nicer bridge. Okay, cool. I'll just ask them. I'm sure they won't mind sending it out. The funny thing is, like, I emailed them back only a couple of days ago, and they went, "Oh man, this slipped through the cracks. Like, we meant to send you a guitar a little while ago, and they didn't. They've got, I think, a couple of accessories coming out, or coming to the house, I should say. But yeah. Anyway, I'll get onto the guitars. Their guitars are great. It'd be great to showcase more of them. Was a crafter expensive in the UK? I'll have to keep my eye out for the second-hand market. Yeah, they're expensive here too. The problem is I don't have a comparison with it. I only tried that one and it was awesome. Like, it's simple. I think it had, it might have had 3 controls and a 2-way switch, like 2 different voicings. The modern one was like a fatter, heavier tone. The vintage one, obviously, a little bit less bass and a little less full sounding, but great. Like, just a great tone. In the blues, have you looked at reviewing FRFF solutions? Seems to be the future with modeling. No, I don't know anything about that brand. Oh, sorry. You're talking about those flat response full range speakers. Is that what you're talking about? Sorry, oh yeah, okay. So are fallback speakers and self-powered PA the only option? I don't really have an interest in those things, to be honest. It doesn't interest me. If you want to play guitar, there's less expensive options, and there's also great lightweight alternatives to having a PA speaker sitting there. Essentially, they call them flat response. Flat in comparison to what, right? And is flat good? Does flat mean it's going to stick out of the mix? Does flat mean that it's what are you doing with it? I don't really get it. The whole flat speaker thing. I know some people love it, and that's fine. I probably, clear indication, I probably won't be doing any of those unless a friend of mine buys one. They say, "Oh, here, do you want to check this out?" I don't see the point. I think it's, if I'm going to do that, I'd rather buy studio monitors and set it up digitally that way. I don't know. To me, that makes more sense. But anyway, that's just my 2 cents. Great to catch you live. Will your podcast come back? This will be on the In the Blues Tone podcast, so I'll put it on Spotify and on iTunes after this. But yes, yeah, I just needed a break from, not necessarily a break from the live streams are always fun, but I think December was crazy. I worked on this massive project outside of this channel, and then I crammed so much stuff, and then I was just like, I need a break. I don't want to think about what's coming out and, you know, all that kind of stuff. I was still making videos, but I spaced them out a lot more. I was doing a lot more of the stuff I knew would be a little bit more fun, like out of the house, all that kind of stuff, like the Guitar Search Saturdays and whatever. But yeah, so that's kind of where I was at. And what was I getting to here? Oh, sorry. Yeah, so I didn't really keep a good eye on like what was coming out, and just wasn't interested in really discussing it, you know. I could talk about the latest guitar sender news every week, but have you tried the Fender Mustang Micro? I picked one up last week. Great to use and not annoying the rest of the family. I had a quick go with one of those, but I haven't like demoed it on the channel. I reviewed one that's basically, I think, the same. It was from a company called, was it Flammer? Possibly. It was awesome. It was like $70. It's essentially the same thing. You plug your headphones in, it sounds unreal. You can go straight out into a mixer or PA system and get a great sound. There's another solution for people wanting those big speakers, those powered speakers. You can do so many other alternatives to that and get a good set of headphones or whatever. But yeah, that's the thing though, right? Like flat response means you put in what you get out. It says studio monitors are not appropriate for live players. Yeah, but why would you want to play with a flat response speaker anyway? Like live when there's like 100 great amplifiers. I don't understand it. It won't sound. I'd rather use a small amp. Get a Princeton or something. And that's not a criticism of you. I mean, if that works for you, go ahead. But I would much prefer to use an amp solution playing live, unless there was no alternative to playing at lower volumes. Then I would take my American sound, put a reverb pedal after it, and plug straight into the PA system, and I'll have all the flexibility of having all the controls on the floor. That's kind of what I do if I'm in those sort of situations. But I don't understand the use case for it. I understand if you've got a Kemper and you're recording and you're going into an audio interface, but I don't sort of see why people buy those. Maybe I'm missing something. Let us know if there's a huge advantage to those speakers, like if you're using them live or in the studio, if I've missed something that I don't understand about them. But yeah, after trying so many different solutions, that wouldn't be high on my list unless it's a weight thing. Then I kind of understand it. All right. Hey, Todd, thank you, man. Far out. Update on my DSL 40. Whilst the stream was happening, I took off the back cover to see if there was anything obvious, and lo and behold, blown EL34. Snowy white, which means the air has got in. Oh, man. That's an easy fix, right? So that's awesome. Sometimes amps, when they go bad, the first thing, there's usually a couple of warning signs if you're playing, and you'll hear the preamp valves can become really microphonic. If you tap them with a pencil, they can make all kinds of weird noises. And if the power tubes are bad, your output will be really limited, or it'll sort of ramp up and down. Usually if there's no power or no sound, then something else has gone wrong. So fuse, blown valve. So that's, I don't know if I've actually ever had an EL34 die on me like that from memory. I've replaced a few over the years, but with different types, which was a waste of money, by the way. But yeah, very cool. So well done, and thank you for the super chat, mate. Jesus, $30, and you sorted out your own problem. I'll send you $30. Thanks, mate. Wow, that's crazy. David says, you missed the point. Miking an amp is what goes through the PA. Yes, but there's people who buy these full-range powered speakers for playing guitar. Like, they plug into those. So if I'm missing, if that's not what you mean, then maybe I'm just... If you're talking about straight-up PA speakers, I think that's different to what I think I was talking about. So, yeah, maybe there's maybe I didn't read something correctly here. Sometimes I glance over the questions and probably answer something completely different. Even the crummy new X pedals are pricey. Man, that makes some good stuff, but everything's gone up. That's, part of the problem. I think I was looking at the price of that green Strat that I played, the custom shop one. Not that I'll buy it, but it's gone up, I think, it's gone up $2,000 in only a couple of years. Like, what? Yeah, the last made in Mexico Strat I bought, I got for under $900 new. Now they're like $1,300 or whatever they are. It's just crazy. Yeah, when I went back to potentially buy that Fender Player Series Plus. It was more expensive than I thought it was. I was like, oh, that's a bit of a hit. I went, you know what? No. So I didn't get it, but it was a great guitar. If you need a noiseless, if you need like a great noiseless Strat, I would say go for that one. I reckon that could be good enough for most people, irrespective of where you're at. It's such a great amp. Such a great, I'm reading about amps here. It's such a great guitar. Flat response is for modeling, and the sound from the modeler doesn't get changed by the speaker. Yeah, okay. But they say that, right? This is what they say. Flat response is... They say that all the time. Oh, these studio monitors are a flat response. Yeah, but then you listen to the same mix on a different set of speakers and they sound different. I bet you if you took like 5 different brands, they'd all sound different. It might be for a number of reasons, right? But there's no true flat speaker. I just don't buy into that. I mean, look, they're more flat than a hi-fi speaker, and they're more flat than your car stereo and all that kind of stuff. And once you get used to the sound of it, it's fine. And you can tweak your amp settings and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not against those things. I just think like it doesn't really feel like it adds, at least for me, any value at all. I'd rather just get a small, lightweight amp I could mic up. It would be the way to go. All right. Marshall DSL 402 limited edition 2x12 combo sounds awesome. That's from Dave Lewis. 2x12. Ooh, all right. Let's do it. Now, I haven't used this keyboard forever, so if I look like I can't type... Oh, hang on, I'm on the... I thought I was on Google. I'm on the Fender site. Marshall DSL 402 212. We'll go to the gear page. This is the forum, right? Oh, there it is. Man, a 2x12 Marshall would be pretty cool, but I bet you it weighs a ton. That's the only problem. I mean, I'd love to try that. What speakers are in there, does it say? Is there an actual... Yeah, here we go. This is what we want. Or is that the original? Alright, that's the original. Where's the... They got it here. GSL. There's too much... Yeah, this should... Oh, what? They don't have it. Maybe it just came out, right? And it's not listed. Was it another leak, possibly? Or... Oh, no, here we go. I'd have to try this one out. I reckon that'd be great. I've never seen one of these. I've only seen the one I've got. And obviously the 20 and the 5 and the head. Very cool. Does it say what speakers are in there? No, if you know what speakers are in there, let us know. All right. Let me just scroll back up. Sorry, chat's moved. And thanks again, Todd. I appreciate it, man. Far out. I just saw the super chat. Thank you. Talking guitars at 6 a.m. That's how we do it here, man. It is 8:54 p.m. Made in Japan. Japanese guitars are the world's best. I agree. They're probably built just as well as anywhere else, and their quality control's awesome. You know, my Tokai Love Rock, that LS110, has outlived all the Gibson Les Pauls I've owned. I'm not saying it was better than all of those, and I did sell one Gibson because I needed dental stuff, but they're unreal. Like, Vola guitars are great. There's so many great made in Japan guitars. David says, RE flat response is why there needs to be progression for those to review in the future. It's really all BS in regards to guitars anyway, when there's such a small frequency range. Amps vary. Yeah, I always think replacing an amp, especially at a gig, is kind of like the last thing you want to do. I would much prefer... I love having studio monitors in that room. If I just want to play through those, it's great. Like, yeah, you can... And I look at Steve from Boston, right? He gets such great tones with his software package. Actually found a jam we did and we lost his camera from it, and the tones were unreal. It was so good. But yeah, I don't know. I just that kind of stuff doesn't interest me. It's another reason why the Kemper's a great tool for the right person, and I thought it was going to like be the be all and end all when I got it, and I ended up going back to an amp with a Captor X because it was just a different feel and it's simple and there's not a million different options, and I kind of like that. I'm a bit more of the simple is good. If you can get a good tone out of an amp, you're doing something right. Edwards make great guitars, absolutely. Fernandez as well is another one. I got to play a Fernandez Strat, I think it was, in Denmark, a guitar shop there. I'm just trying to think of the name of it, but it was Woodstock Guitars. Great guitar shop. Do you agree with Glenn Fricker changes speakers instead of your pickups? Now, I've been saying that for 10 years, man. Go back and check out my channel. Changing the speaker makes the biggest difference to your tone. Without question. The pickups can suck too, though, right? I know he's done a video talking about how they all sound the same, but in a real world scenario, when you're loud and some pickups squeal with certain gain or volume levels, you know, and then you put a different set in, you don't have those inherent issues, and you get a different tone. Like if all pickups sounded the same, that Strat I played the other week should have sounded like mine. It didn't. It sounded far better. So, but speakers, always. I've said that for years. So, yeah, speaker upgrades will make a massive difference. It will sometimes not make the difference that you're looking for. So it's a bit of a rabbit hole. But I've been lucky enough to test like probably 20 or 30 speakers. Friends of mine have just got lots of them. They've got cabs. They've got all kinds of stuff. And we've done shootouts, and it's just been great. So, yeah, it makes them. If you've got something like a Celestion 7080 and you're not digging it, it's not fat enough on the low end, or it's not giving you a certain sound. If you put it something like an Eminent Swamp Thing or Texas Heat in there, it's going to give you a vastly different tone. But you need to pick the right speaker for the tone you're going for. Not all speakers obviously sound the same, which is why they exist. Hey Keith, thank you, man. How are you liking that Strat you got, the Ultra? You know what? I sent it back. I didn't review it. I realized it wasn't for me. It was a couple of things about it. I mentioned this, I think, on the one of the last live streams I did, that it looked awesome, and potentially it could have been a great guitar, but it so I think there were two things wrong with it. The volume taper didn't work properly, so I turned it down to half. I had no volume, which meant I couldn't ride the volume control at all playing live. Like, I didn't take the stickers and stuff off. I just thought, I'll give it a couple of shots and see what I think of it. And that in itself shouldn't be that big of a problem, right? You think, well, how hard is it to change the volume control? But it might not be that. There's a lot of weird circuitry that there's a lot more cables and wires that go into those S1 switch setups. And the tone control didn't work properly. The taper was right off, or it didn't work. It was something like that anyway. So I said to Fender, thank you for this, but I'm going to ship this back. Is there any chance? I just asked them, is there any chance I can send this back to you? And they said, oh, why? What's going on? I said, the volume control is unusable. I don't want to open this up, replace the pot, and have it be something else. So I thought, you know what? I'll just ship it back. So that's how that worked. Unfortunately, it didn't work. The good news is, though, it was a one-off, because the last keys to the guitar shop, I played the black one with the gold anodized pick guard, and it was friggin' awesome. The guitar cooked. It sounded great. So, yeah, it sounded, no, I mean, the other one sounded great, but everything worked as expected. So, yeah, I think it just had a few issues there. Have I ever tried a Kiesel? I have. I've got one. I've got S5 Johnny Highland / Shane custom job. It's my favorite guitar. The last live clip I posted a few videos back, if you check that out, I'm playing that live. Guitar kicks ass. It's the best 3 pickup guitar I've got. It could easily bench my actual Fender Stratocaster. I had no idea that their guitars were so good. I've had it for a while, but I had a damp issue in the cupboard, and it took me a while to get it fixed. Like, just get it all set up and get it ready to go. And it's so good. It really is so good. I'm drinking water. Hey, Rhiannon's here. Hey, how you doing? I saw you text me before. I'll get back to you. I got the two best. No, actually, this is pretty schmoey stuff. I'm out of Pepsi Max, but I got a water here. They say that water will help you, you know, talk better. So I'm going to try that tonight. I need all the help I can get. It's been a while. But I love Kiesel Guitars. Actually, I might have a surprise thing coming from them pretty soon. I've reached out to Brandon, who's an awesome guy. And I said, would you be interested in maybe trying something else? And he said, yep. So I've built something that might be the guitar I've been looking for. Hang in there. John says, brother-in-law has a great Tokai and also a Bernie. Two fantastic Les Pauls. Awesome stuff. Oh, there you go. So Ghost Behind the Sun says, just put a Swamp Thing into my Blues Deluxe. Sounds way better. It's 100 times better than that stock speaker. It's not even close. Like, that's what I've had in mind for 10 years almost, or however long it's been. Yeah. As soon as Fender Blues Deluxe and Fender cripple the Blues Deluxe, they put in that... maybe now they don't, but back when I got mine, it always had that Fender Eminence speaker, which are basically like mass-produced crap speakers. They're not good. You put in a Swamp Thing or Texas Heat or red, white, and blues is what I'm trying to say, or a Lowrance or any other speaker. The amp comes alive. The Swamp Thing is fantastic. It's my favorite speaker for that amp. It's really good. All right, just have a quick drink. We'll take some more questions. We'll probably wrap this up in the next sort of like 13 minutes or so. I want to timestamp this and yeah, we'll see. We'll see how we go anyway. Maybe this will give me a pick-me-up. So while we're waiting on this, I don't know if you can see this. I took my bandages off. How does that look? I can't see it, so maybe it doesn't look that bad. I get the stitches out, I think Thursday or Friday. So I got two lots of stitches. One right in the middle of my head and the other one off to the side on this side. So yeah, it stopped leaking. So I took the band-aids off. It's a great story right there. All right. I picked up an artist TweedTone. Absolutely loved it. Do you still play it much? Yes. I have another video coming up about that. It's on the way. That's the amp you would buy if you don't want to make a lot of noise, or if you want to do a loud gig. It's great. Small, it's light, single 12-inch speaker, two extremely usable channels. It's better than both, in my opinion anyway, the Vox AC15 and the Blues Junior. I love it. And after playing both those other amps recently, the artist TweedTone, it's pretty great. So great stuff, man. I'm glad you got one. That's fantastic. I haven't been using mine as much. Usually for the videos here, I've been using the Fender amp, just because people know what to expect from it. If you sometimes use an amp that people are like, well, what is that? What's it supposed to sound like? Gets a bit confusing. So yeah, usually when I'm doing the straight ahead videos, the pedals or whatever, I haven't done as many of those lately, but the Fender amp's it's in that spot. So that's like it gets used. Occasionally I'll just mix it up. I'll use the Marshall amp for 3 months, but I want to start putting that into rotation more. Man, I've got the heater on in here, and it is cold. All right. Great, almost... this is from Dave T. Guitar. He says, great, almost ready to pull the trigger on my first Kiesel. How did you feel about the neck? What does it feel like? Excuse me. The neck feels amazing. The funny thing is, I'm so used to playing like the really fat Fender necks, or I've got guitars that have the exact opposite. So they're like really thin, like the PRS one or whatever the case may be. And it's the most comfortable neck out of all of them. It's not overly fat, but it's fast and playable. It's got stainless steel frets. It's got just enough chunk. And it gives you very little fight. It was all the things I said about the PRS Custom 24. It's an easy guitar to play. Like, you don't have to... If you're used to playing a Strat or or a Les Paul, it will feel a little bit different, but it will also give you like less fight. It's a really easy guitar to play, and I love it. It's taken me a while to sort of come to the decision that I think it could be my best single coil guitar that I've got. Like it's really great, and I'm under no obligation to keep stuff that gets sent out or use stuff at gigs or jams or anything. Like there's no obligation there at all, and that's the why I've been using that Kiesel so much. It's just fantastic. I took it to the Keys to the Guitar Shop thing and the Bassman Festival. I used it on both, and it's such a great guitar. It really is. Like, it's got all the stuff. It's got the most 3D pickups I've had in a single coil guitar. They just cut, and not in a nasty way. Like, those Johnny Highland pickups are awesome. What speakers in the DSL configuration? OEM speakers. Oh, okay. So they probably put, you know what that means. OEM speakers are, I think, code for Celestion 7080s, which aren't bad in some amps, but I'm tipping that's maybe what it is. They probably just bought OEM Celestion 7080s. Yeah. They, like, I think sometimes amp companies go, well, everyone knows those, just plonk it in. And funnily enough, I've tried 3 speakers in the Artist TweedTone, and the Celestion 7080 sounds better. So there you go. There's like 15 different topics all at once here from just reading the chat. Giambani says, Shane, you rock, love your videos. Hey, thanks, man. Hopefully I pronounced your name right. Sorry about that. Adam says, I bought a TweedTone and use it all the time. Very cool. Oh, I already, hang on. Have we, I think I'm going, the chat just moved funny. Sorry, guys. All right, so Todd says, hit the thumbs up button, folks. Oh, that'd be awesome. What are we up to? Anyway, I haven't even looked. You know, all that stuff really helps. If you enjoy what I do, just leave a thumbs up on a video if you watch it. That's it. Don't ask for anything else. It helps. Or a comment or whatever. Both help. But, you know, all that kind of stuff is awesome. So, thanks, guys. All right. I'll take a couple more questions here. Where is the chat? Chat is disappeared. There it is. Pop out chat. All right, let's try this again. What do you think of jet guitars for mod guitars? Hoping to get a low budget Strat and modify it as I go. So there's a few different jet guitars, but I know that there's a less expensive brand that's out there, and from what I understand, they're pretty good. I think I saw some, and I went, oh, those jet guitars aren't the ones I used to be talking about, which were made in somewhere in the US, and they're like not manufactured anymore. I think they had a plant in somewhere, maybe Korea or something. I can't remember. I did a bit of a talk about it on one video, but I don't know enough about them to really say, oh yeah, they're a great guitar, go do it. But if you find out that the kind of similar qualities are like artist guitars or Harley Bentons or, you know, even Yamaha Pacificas, which I don't think are the entry level one, as great as a guitar as that is, the artist guitars and Harley Bentons have finished better now. Like, they're slightly better. I'm not saying it's a better guitar overall, but just the overall sort of aesthetic of it is nicer. So, yeah, if they're along those lines, then you should be fine. If you're really looking to mod something, start with a good guitar, and also start with something that you want to play. Like, it's real easy to buy like a cheap guitar, but if it feels crap to begin with, it's probably not something you'll reach for. So yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things. I knew this coworker had 7 or so garbage guitars instead of 1 or 2 nice ones. Effects and amps, same. Now I tell you what, over the years, one of the things I've preached not enough maybe is the stepping stone guitar thing, right? I've done a video about this years ago, but try to get the thing that you really want or close to it, rather than buying something before it, only to sell that and spend more money and take a hit to get the next one, unless there's no other opportunity to do so. You know, if the guitar you want is like a Player Plus, whatever, and you're a few $100 off, you're better off waiting. I always think, like, if you get a guitar you're going to love, you'll have it for a long, long time. I've had so many of my guitars now for years. Some of them since like 2008. They're not going anywhere. Or 2009 or whatever. You know, I've had them for 2009. That doesn't sound right. I think some of them are older than that. But anyway, yeah, my Telecaster now I got in San Fran's quite old, and I'm glad I got it, because it's like I don't have to go through that process of getting something else, sort of selling it and kind of working my way up. It was a hit at the time, but it was worth it because they're only going to get more expensive too. Sometimes there's a time and a place for lots of guitars if they're not, you know, you don't have to just have two guitars. If you like playing a big range of guitars and you don't have a favorite one, you're finding good quality, less expensive guitars. That's also a good option too. But if you've got, you know, like stuff some people would consider junk, and all of that money totals up to one or two good guitars, yeah, there you go. It doesn't make much sense. Amp and pedal DIY has shot up in cost. Yeah, everything's gone up in cost. Sucks. GW Taylor says, do you ever use orange amps? Not really. No, I'm not a huge fan of their sort of crunch tone. Their clean tones can be pretty nice, and their reverb circuits, but I don't like the look of them either. I'm a bit of a weirdo like that. You know, some of the orange amps are a bit of an eyesore for me, but you know, there was one that I played that I loved, and there was another one I played that I couldn't stand. I don't remember which ones they were off the top of my head now, but we tried some in the Keys to the Guitar Shop series, and the orange amp, this particular model, was like by far the worst of the night. But then prior to that, we tried, I think it was on maybe the Sky Music YouTube channel back in the day, we cranked up this little orange amp on the clean channel, and it sounded every bit as good as a Deluxe reverb, which is the kind of sound I like. But like it had beautiful, like over the edge of breakup kind of sound, and it had all the good stuff. Great reverb tank, but I can't remember what model number that was. I should try them again. I've got access to that stuff, but I just never choose to do those amps. I always feel like they're probably more aimed at grunge players, you know, and I don't really play a lot of that kind of stuff. It's sort of like blues rock over this side. Shipping has more than doubled in some cases. Yeah, wow. Yeah, that might account for why a lot of this stuff has just gone, you know, through the roof. Like, the best thing you can do if you go away or you go somewhere different, you travel, see if you can find a shop that just sells used guitars. You can pick up such great deals. You know, if it's a bolt-on neck one, you can just unbolt it, put it in your suitcase, take it back with you. Or if you find a used guitar shop locally, you can just, you know, you don't always have to buy new. There's always people selling stuff. Keep an eye on the online classifieds. And yeah, I said that classifieds like it's 1984, but yeah, anyway. Yeah, you definitely don't have to just keep shopping new. Especially with guitars, man. I mean, what changes on a guitar in 10 years? You might have to, you know, reflow some solder. That's it. Yeah, nothing wrong with an OEM speaker as long as you've got an out. Yeah, that's well said. What are the best Seymour Duncan single coils? Ooh. I don't know. Is the quick answer. I can't think of them off the top of my head, so I can't give you an answer that of any value. So I'm going to pass on that one. I apologize. Seymour Duncan pickups are really great, but I'm more familiar with some of their humbuckers. But single coils, I know they make them, and I've seen their website. I just don't often see them anywhere. So, yeah. I'm showing 94 people in the chat and 42 thumbs up. Who didn't thumbs up? Come on, go ahead and help the channel. It's the easiest way. That's from John. Thanks, mate. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, come on, folks. All we have to do, get it to... oh, no, now it's up to 79. So, sometimes... Oh, that's what I see. I don't know if that's accurate or not. Let me ask everybody a question here. So, I can't stand the fact that YouTube removed the thumbs down button. I reckon it's so... It's just a horrible thing, right? You click on a video. You can get plugins for your browser. If you use Mozilla, you can get a plugin that shows you how many thumbs down are on a video. So you can bring that back. I can't remember the plugin name, but it's actually quite good. But this is part of the reason why I ended up getting off, like basically taking myself off a lot of channels. I looked at some of the channel responses and I was like, no, video responses I should say. I'm like, man, this thumbs down button is I really felt like it was a kick in the guts for people who are putting out good content. Now everyone's a winner. It's like, man, it's just, it sucks. But anyway, let us know what you think. I know this is pretty much off topic and it's been like a year and a half now, but I thought, oh yeah, I'm interested to see how this goes. But it's funny because I'm on Rumble now, right? I started uploading these videos to Rumble because I think in the next few years, potentially that could be as big as doing, you know, what I'm doing on here. Not my channel, but just as a video platform once it sort of sways away from its main focus. Once we get some tech channels, some guitar channels, you know, whatever else on there, I think that'll be another good video platform. And seeing the thumbs down, I was like, oh, someone didn't like my video. But I was like, yeah, but the majority of people like it. And that's a good indication for people who find the video. If it's 50 thumbs down and 1 thumbs up from the guy who posted the video, people should know about that, you know. I reckon there's certain, yeah. Anyway, one of those weird things. Instead of a thumbs down, just stop watching the video. Yeah, you're right. But you know, this is the thing. The other day I was trying to work out how to fix something on my computer. It was driving me crazy, and there's so many bad tutorials with no thumbs down. So you waste more time. Maybe this is why they did it. You're wasting more time trying to find answers in videos that you could instantly tell were crap. Like, it's just like, I could have saved 30 minutes. And then I found the video I was looking for. I was like, A, why isn't that video up higher? And B, where's the ratio? You know, it really helps just outside of inside of any niche, I should say. Anyway. Thoughts on upgrading to Fender ultra noiseless pickups into something like an artist Strat? I mean, you could definitely do that. I think pickup changes will make a good difference to any guitar. But if your biggest issue is buzz, the no's are good. The Player Plus Strat pickups I played on a video recently were phenomenal. Like, they sounded so good. If you can find a set of those, I don't know if they're identical to the Fender Ultra ones or not, but I actually think they sounded better to my ear. So find the Fender Player Plus ones if you can. Otherwise, yeah, they're going to be fine. It could be that I played it with different amps and that as well. So anyway, that's where we're at. Jeff Harper, welcome back, man. Thank you. Thanks for joining in. It says good to see you back. I can see the thumbs down. You have none. Oh yeah, but oh, you can see. Oh, you've got the plugin. That's super cool. Yeah. So I think, like, why force? Especially if you're into DIY stuff. Like, if you're trying to fix something or you need technical information, you waste so much more time. And I guess that's what I'm getting to. It's like, you know, if you're people who are putting in the work should get instant notice that their video is actually worth watching over everybody winning. It's like, yeah, okay. That has no correlation to this live stream, by the way. We were talking about thumbs up. I just was curious to see what people thought of that. Because, yeah, after this computer that I'm running this off, I ran Linux, right? And it ruined the bootloader for the hard drive. Like, I couldn't do anything with it. It was just a mess. I couldn't reinstall this, couldn't reinstall Windows, couldn't reinstall Linux. It was giving me nothing. And there was a really specific thing I needed to find, and I found it, but it took me so much longer. So that's what kind of, I thought, you know what? This thumbs down thing removing sucks. But anyway. That's enough of that. I'll check you out on Rumble. Hey, thanks, Janice. And welcome as well. Yeah, I just thought I'd get in there early. I feel like that platform has potential once it gets away from all the political crap. So it'll be a big video. It'll be alongside YouTube, I think, at some point in time. Might take a while, but yeah, I like it because it's sort of like, you know, some of the criticisms creators have with YouTube, there's sort of like none of it with that platforms currently. It does feel a little old compared to, or a little bit young, I should say, in terms of its appearance. It needs a bit of finessing, like design-wise, but I think it'll be a good platform at some point. yeah. If I click thumbs down, it says feedback has been sent to the creator. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there we go. Kevin summed it up. Tutorial shot on a camera made of made of a potato and glue. That's exactly right, man. Hey, Scott Reynolds is here. Welcome, man. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining in. It's been five months since the last live stream almost. I think it's, yeah, very close to 5 months. I'm not Yuval, is that how you pronounce your name? In the Blue, speaking noiseless pickups, do you know anything about the Fernandez, the function pickup tech? No, I don't know that one. Interesting. I'll look it up in a sec. But yeah, I don't think I've heard of that. Rami says, and thank you, by the way, mate, I appreciate it. When recording two guitar bands, I noticed... when recording two guitar bands, I noticed intonation issues. What's your approach to solve this in the studio? When recording two guitar... So are you saying that recording two guitar parts, possibly? Anyway, so intonation is easily fixed. You have to make sure that the tuning's the same open and on the 12th fret. And that means you have to move wherever the saddle is, either forwards or backwards slightly to compensate for whatever pitch it's off. So if it could be either flat or sharp, it just needs to be compensated slightly to find correct pitch. Intonation problems will drive you crazy. If I know when I test guitars, there's some I never play up past the 12th fret. Sometimes when I borrow them or they're straight out of the box, I need a setup. But I'm like, I'll just make this work. It's already here. I don't want to drive back to the shop or, you know, send it back. I'll just try to make it work. And sometimes you're playing and you're like, why does this just sound out? Everything I'm doing past the 11th fret or wherever it kicks in sounds really bad. And then I play a open D chord and I'm like, oh, it sounds all right. So that's usually when the intonation is out. It's really easy to get it fixed. All you need is an Allen key normally or depending on what kind of bridge system you've got. The easiest ones are like Les Paul style ones. You can just put in the tool and sort of move the saddle back and forth. Strat ones are fairly easy as well. They've got like a little screw at the back. You can tighten and move the saddle back and forth. But it's worth doing if you're recording at all. You shouldn't have intonation problems, or you should at least, you know, make sure that it's as close as you can get it. Because if you go past a certain point, it's going to sound out, and then you have to compensate by bending differently, and it messes you up. So I would say just loosen the string off a little bit, move it one way, tighten it back up on the string, see if it's flat or sharp, and then move it the opposite way to correspond for what you need to shift, where you need to shift. I'm sure there's quite a number of intonation help tutorials on YouTube or wherever where you can find information on that. It isn't hard to do, but you just need the right tool. So just loosen the string off a bit. So maybe on some guitars you might not have to, but you could potentially break the string on the saddle if it's kind of one of those pointy ones. So yeah, just loosen it up, move it slightly, see if it's flat or sharp. So play an open string note on the high E or whatever string it is, push down on the 12th fret. Don't do a harmonic either. I used to do harmonics, but they're not as accurate as actually pushing down the 12th fret, and see if you're flat or sharp that way, and then you can adjust it that way. But yeah, make sure if you're recording, definitely have that sort of stuff sorted out, because it's a nightmare. This is coming from someone who's played hundreds of guitars, and I've had all kinds of intonation issues on different demos, and it can be a huge bummer. If it's workable, I'll just do it, but sometimes you're just like, oh, it's just so far out. And nothing that you do will fix it, you know. Phil says, a great Seymour Duncan single coil pickup is the quarter pounder Tele neck pickup. Oh, there you go. I've got one in the LTD 400 hybrid. I know those quarter pounders are popular all across the board, right? Bass players love them and electric guitar players love them. I don't even know if I've actually played an electric guitar one of those before, so very cool. Oh, there you go. So the Xbox app has the thumbs down. So that must be a specialized, like, Microsoft version of the app or something. That's cool. It just, yeah, I don't know. All right, what we're going to check out before, we're going to have a look at, oh, I was going to copy it across. Did I do it? Hang on, let's have a look. Let's have a look here. Let's see if we can find something interesting. How's the audio, by the way? Is it all good? No one's said anything, so hopefully it's all right. I did a quick test. The function. Oh, man, I've done it again. Sorry, guys. I'm typing into some bloody... There we go. I'm back on Windows. It's been so long since I've used it. I'm an ex-Microsoft specialist, and I haven't used it for years. And I'm like, I've just reinstalled it, and I'm like, oh, man. I keep typing into the wrong thing. Any other sites? I hate going to Reverb. All right, let's have a look at this one. Okay. Let's make this a bit bigger. Does it say anything about the function thing? Oh, so is it the name of the actual guitar model is called that, right? The function, is it? Or is that something else I'm misinterpreting here? Either way, I mean, that looks pretty cool, man. Look at that. It's 80s and ready to go. It's gold. Man, I don't like those Floyd Rose things or whatever this contraption is down here. You break a string. I don't know. I've never really liked this whole floating kind of deal here, but I mean, otherwise it looks good. It looks like a good guitar. Yeah, very cool. I don't have any further information. All right, let's go over here. One of my favorite strings. I'm still playing Diodario 10 to 46. Just they're the least expensive ones, and they work. So I buy those. I used to buy the Ernie Ball ones a long time ago, but then they finally made it their way over to sealed packs, which is a great upgrade over the old ones. So, you know, whatever's cheaper on the day, but Diodarios are still the way to go. You buy a 3-pack for... Hey, Metalhead Hippies here. Welcome, man. Yeah, the 3-pack. I usually get them in a 3-pack or a 5-pack or something like that normally. All right. Flat fret forward. There you go. So easy. That's from Jacob. Awesome stuff. Ross Helmet says new strings help. You don't buy new strings. When your strings are dead, you buy a new guitar. That's just how that works. I'm going to move this a little bit here. There we go. Audio sounds like Galvin. What is that? I think they're thinking of the Fernandez Sustainer. Okay. Hey, I think I caught up to the chat here. I probably missed a whole bunch of stuff. Sometimes it just scrolls down. Anyway. Yeah, that's how we do it. All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out. It's been an hour and a half, or an hour and hour and a half. So we might wrap it up. I'm going to timestamp this after the fact. Thank you, all the new channel members and all the super chatters and regulars and everyone who asked a question. I'll timestamp the most relevant parts after this, and yeah, I appreciate it. And yeah, intonation issues aren't a huge problem to fix. So yeah, just have a look into it. If you own the guitar, for example, and the odds are you've got the tool for it, you'll be sorted out. Just give it a shot. You can't really break anything, so yeah, I think it'd be good. All right. Thanks, guys. If anyone has any last questions, let us know, but we may wrap this right up. Shane, ever check out Drewman Guitars from the UK? Just ordered a Tele body. All right, we'll wrap it up with this one. We'll have a quick look at this. We'll go up to the search option this time because we haven't done that yet. Drewman Guitars UK. That's what we said. Let's have a look. Aluminium guitars. Okay. Ooh. These look pretty cool. Wow. So it's like a... Oh yeah, it's some unique stuff going on. I mean, that just looks like pretty much a straight up LP. And there's your thin line Telecaster. Oh yeah, okay. Oh wow, some of these actually look pretty great. Yeah, they look cool. All right, I dig it. I mean, to me, that's just another LP, right? Or an LTD. But these... Oh, actually, the materials are different. Okay, fair enough. I'll give them... Oh, wow, okay. I kind of like that. I reckon that looks good. Yeah, very nice. Very nice. Actually, this... I kind of like the green. So, play this green aluminium monster for the first time production we ever made. Okay, so they're all aluminium. Very cool. I thought that was just another, you know, mahogany body guitar when I first saw that, but that's awesome. At least, you know, it's good to see people doing something different. I hate to see what the Tonewood folks say about that, but you know what? I'm sure it'll sound great. All right, guys, thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. I got more videos coming up. I'm going to start playing again, hopefully tomorrow. My arm's been out of action for a little while now, but we should be good. And now that I took the bandage off my head, I can film again without having to wear a hat or covering it up. But thank you. Thanks again for all the support. Thanks for hanging out. And we will catch you on the next live stream, which I'm going to probably schedule up sometime on the weekends because it's easy. And I'm going to bring the heater in next time because I'm freezing. All right, guys. Take care. Thank you, everybody. And if I missed your question, leave it on the replay on the regular chat section if you can. And I'll reply while I'm doing the timestamps. I'll catch you soon. Now I've got to work out how to turn this off.